Okay, welcome back. So, what we talked about before is that during the series of working with negative numbers, debt, lines of credit, this is what we're going to use to represent negative numbers, and then money is what we're going to use to represent positive numbers. So, let's first start with the easiest one, which is adding two negative numbers together, okay? So you have your credit card and you're like, oh, you're super excited. So you're like making purchases with your credit card and you go to Starbucks and it's like, ding, tap, whatever. And you spent $5 that you charged to your credit card, okay? So remember, any payment made on a credit card is a negative number. So now you have negative $5. And let's just keep rolling with the spending, right? So then you go out with friends, you go to dinner and a movie, and you spend $42. And then you go and you get some groceries, and that was $100. So these are all made to a credit card. So these are all negative purchases, okay? So you have negative $5 in Starbucks, negative $42 dinner and a movie, and negative $100 in groceries. And the question is, how much debt are you in now? Well, you are $147 in debt, right? Negative 147. Now, let's talk about adding negative and positive numbers. Okay, so now let's talk about adding negative and positive numbers. So we talked about being in debt. You've gotten yourself negative $147 into debt. And so now you're like, okay, I would like to pay off my debt, which is great, good decision making. So what we have to do in order to pay off debt is we need to bring in our positive number. We need to bring in money. And that's what we do in the form of payments. So you take real money that's represented by the positive, and you pay that into your credit account. So we have negative 147, and so we're gonna add $40 to the account. If we add $40 into the account, well, how much debt are you in now? Well, you're $40 less in debt. You're $40 closer to zero. So now you are $107 in debt. So you have negative 107. Now you're like, okay, well, I would love to see that at 100. So, okay, you add $7 into the account. You give a $7 payment. Now you are $7 less in debt. You are closer to zero by 7. So that means now you're at $100. And now someone gives you an unexpected $50. Yay, that's super exciting. And you're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that towards my debt. So you make another payment of $50. $50 less, you're $50 less in debt. You're $50 closer to zero. So that puts you now at negative 50. And then of course, you get another $50 you paid off and you've completely canceled your debt and you're at zero. So when we are adding negative numbers together, two negative numbers, that's just us getting further and further into debt. And when we're mixing a negative number with a positive number, every time we add a positive to a negative number, that's ourselves getting closer and closer to zero. That's us getting further and further out of debt, if I'm saying that right. But I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, well, then I'm not doing a good job as a teacher and I would like you to tell me. So if I am doing a good job, let me know in the comments that like this is sticking, this is working for you. And if not, also let me know in the comments so I can get it together. But anyway, next lesson, we're going to get into a little bit trickier things of, what are we doing? What are we doing next lesson? What are we doing? Multiplying. We're going to multiply with negative numbers. So I will see you over there.